If you're an avid viewer of the happenings in Gordon House, then you may be familiar with the sign language translator. In this week's edition of A Ray of Hope, you'll hear the voice behind the hands and the interesting facial expressions. It's the story of Antoinette Aiken with part 1 of a part 2 feature. Here's Kay and Morgan.
Her hands serve as the voice of the deaf community. For 7 years, Antoinette Aiken has been that voice in Parliament and for national press briefings. Her sign language journey began as a child, having been born to deaf parents. Tony, as she's affectionately called, came to that realization when she was 9 months old.
My father said that that's when he knew that I knew my parents were deaf, because they were sleeping and I was crying. They weren't responding, so I threw a bottle and hit them in the head at that age.
After being pushed by her stepmother to learn sign language, by 14, she was fluent. She started her interpretation journey at the Jamaica Association for the Deaf. She even studied sign language at university for a while. But though she didn't finish her degree, she's able to sign for deaf Jamaicans and Americans.
I've been interpreting from I'm 19 years old. And as an interpreter, you can be called upon at any time to go anywhere. And I just never had the time to invest in that part of my life, but I don't regret it. Because if I did, then I wouldn't be able to achieve the things that I've achieved today.
Antoinette is like a merger between both communities. However, at times she says it can be overwhelming, having to decode and condense for the deaf, but she loves it.
When you see me interpreting for the Prime Minister or anybody, there's a delay, because my brain now has to say, okay, how would I then express this in Jamaican Sign Language accurately? Even if you're in Cuba, when a deaf Cuban person is signing, that's Cuban Sign Language, it's not Spanish. You understand? So people need to understand that sign language and spoken language is two different things.
She didn't always like coding.
Why I have to have the bit of one to tell adults that my parents are not dumb. And so as a child it becomes like a burden. But no, I loved every single step that I went through, because it has made me who I am today.
She also received a lot of criticism.
When I just started out, I can tell you, it never nice. What kind of foolishness you sign? Me not understand. And a lot of people can't deal with that. But you have to be able to take that, work with it, and build from there.
It's a community she has grown to not only appreciate, but to protect. In next week's edition, we delve more into Tony's journey, where she outlines her accomplishments and dreams for the deaf community. With A Ray of Hope, I'm Kay and Morgan.